spectacular views. High-risk feet and high-dollar shoes. Manufactured pass with a view to look cool. Flip to flying high, no chain, no rules. Cheap thrill, stack bills, spectacular views. High-risk feet and high-dollar shoes. One lie, bad timing, spotlight blink. Brain freeze, mouth said, don't fucking think. Skin on display, transition to shame. Room went quiet, but money exclaimed. Cubicles, cake days, living rooms. Velcro seams, fake last Mary Jane fumes. Wasn't brave, I was broke with motion. Confidence rented, feel for commotion. Name the mess, called it crucial. Laughing dramatic while rewriting rules. Every show half depth, half truth. Self-parody sharpened into you. Crowds don't care about a fucking backstory. They want time and skin, bravado, glory. I gave them all, kept the spark. Walked out humming through the dark, yeah. Manufactured pass with a view to look cool. Flip to fly high, no chain, no rules. Cheap thrill, stack bills, spectacular views. High-risk feet and high-dollar shoes. Manufactured pass with a view to look cool. Flip to fly high, no chain, no rules. Cheap thrill, stack bills, spectacular views. High-risk feet and high-dollar shoes. Daylight normal, midnight pharaoh. Warehouse base, chemical halos. Hands grip monsters, vows at sunrise. Thought that feeling was permanent surprise. Split life, crack along the grain. Too wide to sleep, too tired to aim. Pack my bullshit, pointed south. Vegas taught me crowd control, sharp edge mouth. Mic in hand, chaos least. Hard rock nights, Olympic heat. Learn real fast how to steer a room. Smile on cue, implode at two. Burnout whispers, never yells till silence takes over, crushing as hell. Read the room, ran the show, capiche. Then the noise went quiet inside of me. Manufactured pass with a view to look cool. Flip to fly high, no chain, no rules. Cheap thrill, stack bills, set thrill views. High-risk feet and high-dollar shoes. Manufactured pass with a view to look cool. Flip to fly high, no chain, no rules. Cheap thrill, stack bills on real views. High-risk feet and high-dollar shoes. Shutter clicking, door calculation. Altitude calling without reservation. Fear goes quiet on the edge of transition. Focus sharpens, tightens up, alters perception. Gravity lessons, taught mind a scam. Time slow, stutter stretches wide through the span. Try timeline, slice short like that. Lost, don't knock it, blurs the map. Lenses rolling, vertebrae steady. Altitude checks, keep sharp skills ready. Climbed up front, learned the gauges. Checklist beat, bravado phases. Flew the wings I used to flee. Control, rewired chemistry. Same engine, different use. Same feet, different fucking shoes. Oh. Manufactured pass with a view to look cool. Flip to fly high, no chain, no rule. Cheap thrill, stack bills, hit real views. High-risk feet and high-dollar shoes. Manufactured pass with a view to look cool. Flip to fly high, no chain, no rules. Cheap thrill, stack bills, unreal views. High-risk feet and high-dollar shoes.
NZ Aerosports, Icarus Canopies, now Jyro. That's right, we've rebranded, and Jyro is our next generation. It honours our founder, as that's the name we knew him by, but Jyro also marks the start of a new chapter. And not to be biased, but it's going to be fucking epic. Long story short, we're more us than ever, so if you're new to the sport, or even a Sky God Ninja Turtle, welcome. I think our valiant leader Luci, Jyro's daughter, says it best.
And we still got that fuck yeah attitude. Rebrand! Woo!
Rebrand woo indeed, Luci. Anyway, head over to Jyro.com for more info and get amongst you legends.
I was 19, broke, unemployed, and sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. So I thought I better sew her a new one. What a sentence, and what a story. This describes the humble yet outrageous beginnings of NZ Aerosports, the home of Icarus Canopies, in the words of our founder himself. From getting a paratrooper toy from his mom, watching parachutes at the DZ as a 6-year-old, jumping off the wharf with a parachute made from bed sheets, doing his first jump at 16, sewing his first canopy on a borrowed machine at 19, and starting to sell parachutes out of a garage in 1986, Paul Jyro Martyn had an undying love for the sky. Our company started with one man with the wildest of spirits and a true blue sky dream, a renegade. In the time that Jyro created and ran the Icarus Canopies brand until he passed away in 2017, he pushed everything he had to its limits. We miss him, and we always will. Jyro is the next generation of NZ Aerosports. It honors our founder, of course, because it was the name we all knew him by, but Jyro the rebrand also marks the start of a new chapter, our next jump. Jyro is the space between sound and silence, art and science, chaos and calm. Jyro is a state of epic tranquility that transcends understanding. That moment, in the door, in free fall, mid-swoop, where nothing but the present exists. A perfect balance of euphoria and thrill. Jyro captures our passion for flying and our commitment to designing break-the-fucking-rules canopies that deliver pilots pure, wild flight. Hey gang, so I got a new book out. It's called The Upside of Fear, and it's exactly what you think it's about. It's about the good side of, well, getting scared. In it, we talk not only about the science and biology behind fear, but the psychology as well. And it's not just coming from me, it's coming from some of the best in the sport. Omar Alhigelan, Jeff Provenzano, Maxine Tate, and so many more have contributed their sometimes terrifying stories to the book to help you overcome your fear. So head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com. You're going to find the link to the book there, as well as the other books. It's available in ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook right now.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go. Back in the can for another edition of the Lunatic Fringe podcast. This one's taken a little while to line up, but the face on the other end of this screen is in paradise right now. So tell me, who the fuck are you and what do you do?
Kia ora. My name is Luci, and I'm one of the directors of now Jyro. I'm here in Bali at the moment, and coming to talk with you.
The fact that I can actually get someone to drop whatever they're doing in Bali to sit in front of a computer is fucking fantastic.
I love it here. There's worse places to be in front of a computer, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, so you're there doing like a surf camp and stuff.
Yeah, I'm here learning how to surf, which has been quite a hilarious journey, but fun nonetheless.
Is it one of those things where it's like skydivers taking on a new part of the sport? You just enjoy being a student again?
Yeah, I have fun just being goofy and looking silly. So it's just as hard as skydiving, I would say.
Yeah, well, it's actually terribly easy to look goofy surfing too.
Yeah.
It really is
I've gotten
easy.
used to it.
So we're not here to talk about surfing. We're here to talk about doing stuff like jumping out of airplanes. So as is usual, I'm going to jump you back to the beginnings of your time in the sport and how you got involved in skydiving and all these extreme sports.
Yeah, well, my dad was a skydiver. He had dreamed about skydiving since he was a kid. And by the time I was born, he was traveling the world skydiving. And so I was hanging out a lot at drop zones, mainly in New Zealand and Auckland. And then I got to go as well, traveling to the drop zones as a kid in Spain and England and America, and sometimes in Australia as well. So I had a really fun childhood. I was surrounded by skydivers, which was the best time.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the community, just such an epic community and super inclusive. So yeah, I really that's how I guess I started in the sport, second generation.
When you grow up in the sport like that and you're traveling the world, obviously your normal is dramatically different than a lot of other kids. Were you doing the regular school thing and then traveling like on summer breaks?
Yeah, so it was mainly on the weekends. I was at the drop zones, and then when I was younger, I got to go on like bigger trips with my mum to, across the world as well, where my mum would come as well. And then my dad would be traveling overseas a lot, and me and mum would be at home. So I also had a fairly normal childhood at home, surrounded by other kids and things. So yeah.
Now, at what age or how young, I should say, did the kids that you were hanging out with and your friends realize that mom and dad for Luci do some different stuff?
Yeah, I don't know, I think we've always been surrounded by quite colorful humans. So it wasn't really until I had like my own friends coming from maybe like intermediate or high school that I started going, yeah, I've
Uh,
had a pretty wild upbringing.
That's got to be kind of cool, though, right? I mean, because it's especially when it something like skydiving is so out of the box, unusual. People, I mean, you would be the outcast or you would be like the fucking cool kid.
Yeah, I think at school it wasn't really until like closer friends came along, started being part of my home life, where a lot of my friends like also thrived in that kind of environment, and we are still friends to this day. So,
Nice.
um, yeah.
Now, as I've learned more about the history of skydiving and specifically your dad lived a pretty wild life. Like
Yeah,
there's a few stories out there about dad. So what was that like growing up as a kid with a guy that can sometimes be summed up as living a legendary life?
I sum up my kind of life with him as chaotic and fun. It was everything all the time, everywhere, all at once. And I wouldn't swap it out for anything.
Mm. Well,
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of second and even third generation skydivers that say the same thing. They're like, it wasn't what would be considered a normal family life because it's pretty
Yeah.
wild, but it was so amazing I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had like the skydiving craziness, and then I also had like dad's entrepreneurial side, and that came with a whole different community as well come in, and they're just as wild, as risk takers, more in like a business sense, but lots of fun. Too much
Sure.
fun, some might say.
Well, now and then there's the New Zealand sensibility about it at all as well, which is a very laid back, very comfortable association that you have with all these people, but there's also a wild side.
Yeah. Yeah. It was mainly wild. Like, I'd say like the laid backness definitely came at the factory for me. Like we had this beautiful garden. All of our staff are always quite laid back, and that was really home chill life for me. It was actually
Sure.
at the factory. Yeah.
Now, at what point did you, or I should say, so a lot of kids growing up naturally tend to push away from the stuff that their parents do. Was that how it was with you in skydiving, or were you attracted to jumping?
Um, I always knew that I was gonna give it a go at some stage, but I definitely did push it away a little bit. I wouldn't say I was pushing it away. I just kind of had my own path. As soon as I left high school, I was like wanting to backpack the world. So I did that for a while, and then I ended up doing my AFF when I was 19, and then that was a super fun way to see the world. And
Sure.
then I ended up doing about my first 100 jumps at like maybe 30 different drop zones, which probably isn't the smartest idea. Um, but it was fun. Like I got to see everyone from all around the world, and I still bump into them now. So like one of the girls I think I did my 20th jump with, or maybe 25th or something, jump with an Imperia Brava right before COVID hit. I was brushing my teeth at Skydive Elsinore, and I look up in the mirror and she's brushing her teeth right next to me.
Isn't it
So
crazy?
yeah, and we hadn't seen each other for maybe 4 years since our
It's
time in Imperia Brava when we were both students. So
it's such a small community, and you bump into people at the most random times. I mean, it was akin to way back when I used to promote raves, and you would just bump into the most random people at a party 2 years later. You don't even know their name, but you had a great time with them at one point, and it's a
yeah.
lot like that.
Yeah, just like as when I was in Bali, just out in the water the other day, the plane came across the sky, and all these skydivers started jumping out, and I recognized some of the parachutes, and I was like, I wasn't expecting that in Bali, but
Right?
a very welcome surprise.
That's got to be kind of crazy for you too, because I mean, obviously, with the brand that you represent that was started by dad, to be able to, be someplace like bobbing up and down in the water in Bali, and all of a sudden something that your family was so important with, here's your parachutes are across the sky.
Yeah, I was like out in the water. And I was trying to tell one of my friends, like, those are my friends up there. And they're like, oh, cool. I was like, no, you don't get it. Like, I'm so excited right now. I had no idea they're going to be here.
You know what I find
um,
in situations like that, I find myself, because you just want to tell somebody, right? Even if it's the
yeah.
most random person, you want to share that with them. And I find that over the years, I have so many people that have looked at me like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Because I'm so excited.
Yeah, but like, okay. And especially with skydiving, it's so niche. People don't understand the background and community that's behind it. So once you start kind of explaining it, they go, oh wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, and you said you saw Airwax was flying over the top of you,
Yeah, I saw the airwax parachutes and I was like, cool. I haven't
right?
seen airwax in so long, and yeah.
That's so wild. So you said you did your AFF traveling all around the world and having a good time with it, but was it anything that you thought was going to be a career choice in skydiving, or was it just going to be I'm going to jump casually?
I think I'm more of a fun jumper. I definitely like jumping for fun. All
Nice.
about the fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you're kind of in it. You said your Zen place was the factory, so I mean,
Yeah.
you grew up in the industry.
Yeah, and I got to meet some of the most amazing humans through it as well. Like I always, skydiving is such a special place in my heart.
Well, that's the thing. And I'm sure you've heard it a million times on this podcast. It always boils down to the community.
Yeah, it's something that I've noticed. Like people start skydiving for the sport, and I started to notice they stick around for the community.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and the experiences. Like it's a whole adventure. It's not just jumping out of a plane. You get to travel the whole world doing it with awesome people.
And yeah, and meet the most incredible people. Absolutely. I've talked to, and I've told the story on the podcast before, but I had a friend from back in the day put a very heartfelt post up on Facebook about how he's leaving the sport because he's got kids now. He just can't dedicate enough time to it, and he thinks that the family comes first. And everybody was, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And my response was, dude, you're a skydiver for life. Even if you never put another rig on your back, you're a jumper. You're fucked. You're one of us.
Yeah, when dad stopped jumping when I was like 12, but he was still so much in the community, like I still consider him a skydiver for sure my
Sure.
whole life.
Now,
Yeah.
at what point growing up did you realize that your dad wasn't just another jumper?
Um, when I was in the wind tunnel in Paris with my dad, someone came up to me and was like, "Is that Jyro?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Oh, Gyro's a real human." And I was like, "Yeah, it's my dad." And he was like, "Whoa." I thought he was just fake. I was like, what? And I couldn't quite comprehend it. And then yes,
It's got to be
started noticing the
strange.
gravity. Yeah.
It's got to be very strange growing up, and then as you get older, realizing that your dad was kind of legendary in the sport.
Yeah, and right after that we went to my first PIA symposium, which was in Florida, and people kept going up to me like, "Oh, do you remember me? Like, I met you when you're this tall," and started being introduced as Gyro's daughter,
Yeah.
not Lucy. And I was like, okay. And then that's kind of picked up traction. I kind of formally Gyro's daughter in the skydiving industry, and that's when it's like, I recognize that now. Dad had quite a gravity in some places he
Yes.
went.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, we and we'll talk about it a bit more later with the rebranding and stuff, but one of the copies that I read as things started to switch around from NZ to Jyro was the I sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. I mean, I love that story on so many levels. It's not even funny, but the fact that that's actually part of the marketing for the company is just mwah.
I mean, it's honest.
That's the
It's all
thing, right?
about like for us, yeah, the whole rebrand was about being authentic. So the how many stories I had to take out, I probably had maybe like 10 pages of things I wanted to say, and to boil it down just to that those short paragraphs. That was one of the standout things. That was like what motivated him to start making a
So
new parachute.
when all of this was going on, and when what would become NZ and then now Jyro started to form, did you know what was going on? I mean, were you there for this as it was really starting to gain traction, or were you just kind of doing your own thing?
Do you mean our transition to Jyro?
No. I mean the actual initial company when it started. I don't know. I need more of the history from you.
Right. So yeah, when I was born, I think my dad had already started making parachutes, and I think he was making about 3 parachutes a week. And he had just found someone that miraculously lived around the corner that was making a automated cutter to cut sail fabric. And then he met up with them and made it for parachute fabric instead. So just kind of starting up our factory like that. Dad was still cutting parachute panels out of cardboard back then, and we had one seamstress and a rigger. I think that was about it. And shortly after I was born, we moved into our main factory of the last 20 years, which was Sussex Street, where most of our growing has been done.
Well, so now that was one of the. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And we were mainly selling in Australia and New Zealand at the time. And then in 1999, when I was 4, Dad was trying to expand worldwide. So he found manufacturers in Spain and in the USA as well, which is when we started traveling quite a lot as a family. And yeah, it was just growing from there quite slowly. It was quite organic growth for most of that time as well. Yeah.
Well, now, one of the big things was was it the programming or the cutting that your dad kind of had the edge on people? Was it the way that the parachutes were being cut?
Yeah, I think that technology at the time was quite new for parachute fabric. So he went around the world. I'm pretty sure he sold like 30 or 40 of them to other parachute manufacturing kind of companies.
Sure.
So yeah, he had fingers in a lot of pies all the time.
I mean, that's got to be really cool to think of too, right? That even if it's not what was the beginning of the NZ Aerosport canopies, that what your dad did had a lot to do with the top canopy manufacturers outside of NZ Aerosports. That's fucking cool.
Yeah. I wonder if they still use those products. That product was actually made by another guy who had the same name as my dad, as Paul. And Dad, I think, was looking all around the world for something like this, and he ended up just being right around the corner from our family home. So we ended up becoming really good friends and would spend Christmases together and just became family.
Well,
Dad also owned a few bars right next to my family home at that same time. So yeah, it was frequenting the bars a lot.
Well, I mean that kind of technology, the overriding theme that I find in skydiving is that skydivers found a way to make the shit they needed happen while still being able to keep the party lifestyle that they wanted. Because it wasn't about being more effective with the work. It was about having more time to do what you wanted while the work was getting done.
Yeah, it was very much a lifestyle business.
Yes, absolutely. Now, so growing up as a kid through all of this, and obviously to go from that to controlling the company has had to have been one wild ride.
It is, and it continues to be a wild ride. It's ever evolving and constantly changing, and has grown me like nothing. I don't think anything else could grow me like that has. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. Like I guess I started to become a jeweler, and about a month into being a jeweler, my dad passed away, and I decided, okay, no, I'm going to go back to NZ Aerosports or Jyro now, and take on that challenge. That seemed like the most authentic way for me to go at the time. So it was a little bit of a turnaround of what I was starting to put my life on. But I'd been working at Aerosports for about 5 years at the time in production. So I had, some experience with the company.
Sure. I was going to say, I'm sure the idea of it must have been daunting, but it also kind of must have been like going home.
Yeah, that's how it really felt. It felt just so authentic. Like it felt wrong going back to jewelry school. I don't think I ever stepped foot in jewelry school since then. I
What?
remember just sitting across the road and I called my best friend. I was like, uh, I don't know, but this is for me. Would you mind coming picking me up? And she came pick me up and we went for a big walk that day. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
So, well, was the jewelry school kind of a desire to find your own creative stuff outside of the sport?
Yeah, I think I was very inspired. But both my parents own their own businesses, and I liked working at piece rate. I work at piece rate at that time in the factory, so I worked making per piece. I quite liked working with measurements, and I wanted something creative though. So I thought like jewelry, you're kind of working per piece you make, and it's creative, and you're working with very, very refined measurements. I think we were being judged on 0.1 of a millimeter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it just like was a very logical decision as well. Um, Although I have to say, sometimes when I was sitting there making jewelry and it was sunny outside, I was like, be quite nice to go jumping right now.
Well, I mean, I suppose really it's not such a huge leap because you went from one potential profession that required such small tolerances to another one that
Yeah.
requires such small tolerances and just as much creativity, just in slightly different ways.
And I think that's why I like really took influence with my parents like that, and then I kind of wanted that same thing, like lifestyle business, working my own hours. Yeah.
So when the company was really starting to gain traction, I was certainly around. In fact, I remember wanting the original Icarus stickers because it said "fuck yeah," which I thought was just the coolest thing. That's even in skydiving, that's a pretty fucking bold marketing move.
If you knew my dad, it didn't feel that bold.
You know,
He was always swearing.
it
I remember he coming home was like, "I know your slogan, it's fuck yeah," and I was like, "Fuck yeah." Mum was like, "Lucy, don't say that." I
that's
was like,
fantastic.
"That's a losing battle, Mum."
It's so funny because I mean, most of the rest of the world that would just never fly. And I never had the privilege to meet your dad, but I have a feeling I really would have liked him.
Yeah, I think you would have. We do get a few emails every now and then just being like, I don't like the profanity. Like, I just thought I send a formal complaint, blah, blah, blah. And our response is kind of, well, I guess you're not our target market then.
Yeah, they kind of missed the mark. That's I actually had somebody get mad at me over an article that I had written for Blue Skies years ago, and my response was something along the lines of, "You're upset by an article written by a guy who calls himself the fucking pilot.
Yeah,
You're kind of
yeah.
asking to be offended if that's what you're looking for."
Yeah, you're welcome to be offended.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It doesn't bother me a single bit. But that had to
no.
be, I mean, that had to be a little bit odd as you were growing up. Was there ever a point, as you're hitting high school and stuff where you're the fuck yeah kid? Yeah, that's me.
Uh, no, I don't think at high school I was just kind of a normal kid. The only time where it was maybe advertised was when Dad would come. We had this tiny little car
Oh no. Oh no.
with big mag wheels on it, the huge logos like a cross, and he would have like the wind blades sticking out the back. And he would come pick me up from school just tooting his horn, toot 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 toot, Lucy!
Oh, that's
And all the kids would be
amazing.
looking at me like, why does it say fuck yeah? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Dad, just get in the car, drive off.
That is so
um,
fantastic.
yeah.
That
Only the friends who like kind of came to my home life though really understood the fuck yeah, and I'd come to the factory and it was all very welcomed.
Well, I would imagine, yeah. And that must be, I can imagine if I was in that position, the incredible pride that I would take if I got to bring my high school friends to the fuck yeah factory. I'm going to show you all this really cool shit. Because there must have been a point when you realized I got a pretty cool life.
Yeah, I think it was I had like a lot of freedom. So, like most friends, you'd go to their home and you kind of had to um, not disturb the peace. But my dad kind of welcomed the chaoticness, so we're kind of always beer, sometimes drinking beer, being a bit naughty.
Sure,
But my
sure,
dad's like, I'd rather you do that here, and just a lot of freedom.
for sure. Now,
Yeah.
so was he the creative type that handed the responsibility off to someone else, or was he able to kind of compartmentalize?
I've been thinking about this a lot recently because he did build that whole factory from the ground up. But when I really got to know him, he was very chaotic, and creative. And Attila and Richie really like held the fort down. Um, if my dad was just terrible at catching flights and being on time. Um, so I kind of I wondered there must have been some stage in his life where he was like very organized, but then I just can't imagine it also. So I don't really
Yeah.
know. Or if he was just like, so obsessed with doing the one thing that he, got so into it, he just didn't stop kind of, hyper focused on something.
Sure, sure. Well,
Yeah.
I remember I think the first person with NZ that I had on the podcast was Attila. And
Yes.
Attila is this very relaxed, very professional, very mellow. And you listen to the stories that Attila tells, and they so don't seem to match, but they do, right? Because
Yeah.
he's such a pro. But
Yeah.
then you're like, but you did what? And with what company? Holy shit.
I know, yeah. Attila is like, especially like with my growth, he's been within the company, he's been such a I don't know what the right word is. I want to say guardian, but I don't think guardian
Like a
is the right
mentor?
word. Mentor, yeah. Because whenever I'm like, well, like all these big emotions are coming up, he's just like a rock solid human that's like, we've got this, and he's just so calm all the time. And I'm like, okay, right, no, we've got this, and I think he was that for Dad as well. And I
Nice.
think it happened like vice versa as well. Like I see Dad was a very big mentor in so many people's life, especially when you work with him, to like how he perceives business and executes business and new ideas and how you deal with them. And just the whole philosophy around our business as well, I think is very inspiring. So I think it was like, yeah, definitely a very yin and yang relationship.
Well, and it seems to me from everything that I've learned over the years working with you guys in relationship to the podcast is it's I don't think company is ever how I would describe NZ now Jyro. It's a family. I mean, it's a dysfunctional family, but it's a family.
It really is, yeah.
It's great
Yeah.
though. I mean, it seems to me like you guys have cultivated the people that are absolutely the best at what they do in their little niche. And then outside of that,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're going to get, but all the cogs seem to fit together so well.
Yeah, I think Dad had a real talent of recognizing people's strengths and building a role that fit them,
Mm.
as opposed to finding what we need and then just like keeping people accountable. Like Julian, he came in making line sets originally, for
Right.
example. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
and
well, and I love talking to him because he tells the same story of, I designing line sets, and then all of a sudden he's designed arguably the most incredible parachute ever to hit the air.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's just by recognizing people's talents and sitting down and getting to know them. Shannon as well, who's been directing our marketing for over 10 years. She came in originally as filming as a project for her university project, like a film about Dad and our company for a university project. And I think she walked out with a job as well.
Yep, yep. Well, which is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing if you can spot that kind of talent, and obviously the company itself is a very attractive entity because you guys are clearly enjoying what you're doing,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
And
is
and I
huge.
think that's when you play to people's strengths, you enjoy what you do. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Now, I would imagine because of the environment that was already there, that must have made it easier to step into your current role. Because for a lot of kids taking over a parent's company, it's not that easy, and they have a very difficult time being taken seriously by the company. But in a company like this, where you're already family, that must have made it much easier.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was easy. I definitely I definitely had some struggles as well like this. Uh I think the first few years, like it was just a lot of me soaking up everything. And then
Mm,
once I could start to back myself with some knowledge and what I desire for the company and everything, and then we start talking about it, I think there was like a period of we were all trying to work together because it's between me, Richie, Julian, and Attila.
yep.
Um, and so like how we play, yeah, it's a finding that balance of playing to each other's strength and where we fit in and all becoming business owners at the same time. So there
Right.
was definitely challenges there as well. Whereas I think a lot of family businesses, when people are they're brought up in the business, so you kind of have a progression that you should
Right.
follow, or
Right.
that the parents follow, set out for their children to follow. Um, yeah.
Now, what sparked the desire to do the whole rebranding? Because by the time this came around, NZ Aerosports is like become famous. You know, everybody knows two brands in skydiving, and NZ Aerosports is arguably the best.
Yeah, so it was I came in and we had some brand confusion with another company. And so we're trying to sort that out, and that got nowhere. And we're kind of looking at our brand, and there was Icarus, Daedalus, and NZ Aerosports. And you go to different parts of the world, they just call us NZ or Icarus NZ or Icarus, and you got this Daedalus range of parachutes. And a lot of the time, we were ended up explaining our brand to people, which I think there was so much cooler things we could have been saying. So it took a while. It took a while to come to that conclusion that maybe we should do a rebrand. And someone mentioned it to me, just a contract that we had in our factory. Oh, Jyro's everywhere. Like Jyro's such a great, unique name. Blah blah blah. And just over time, it was kind of ticking in my head, and then we all just decided it one day. Okay, we're going to be rebranding now, and it took a lot. Yeah, it took a lot of processing, I think,
Sure.
to get there. Um, because Icarus and NZ Aerosport's been repping literally my whole life,
Yeah.
and there's like this whole thing of like letting go of some of the things that my dad had created as well.
Sure.
And then throughout the whole rebranding process, I kind of started realizing that it's also like it's really nice ode to the past, but at the same time, it's kind of showing our authenticity. So I wanted to show that we were who we were, and it was just very unique and straightforward. And that we have a new phase of our company, which is owned by us now. And yeah, I think the brand itself is better, cleaner, clearer, and it just kind of reflects the pursuit of excellence, which is
Sure. It's
one of our values. Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly the next evolution of it, and
Yeah.
there were obviously a lot of really good reasons that went into it. It's kind of funny that you'd mentioned the confusion with other companies, because when I first started working with you guys, goodness, over 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think so. It
Yeah,
was around when COVID first hit.
yeah. Holy
Yeah.
shit. It's been that long. But I had made a post on Instagram, and I tagged what I thought was you guys, and very quickly got a
Yeah.
message going, could you please unfucking tag that? Oops. And that's
Unfucking tag
yeah,
that.
unfucking tag that. That's when I learned. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't
Yeah.
realize. And so that's kind of when I got a little bit of the history of it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely want to move away from that a little bit, a lot of
Sure.
it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Now, what inspired, not the name, obviously the name comes from your dad, but
Yeah.
what inspired the style that you decided to go with?
So we had a full brief and we wrote down who we were. So we wrote down all of our values, all of our target market, and then we went to some designers, which luckily, usually when we work with agencies, they don't understand us at all. They're always going, you should do this like very corporate thing, and we're going, I don't think you get skydiving.
Yeah.
And we're just lucky to hit the nail on the head with these guys. The designers that we hired, the guy who owned the company also owns a surfboard factory. So it was kind of going hand in hand, and we figured out down the line that we actually have lots of mutual friends as well. That's New Zealand for you.
Yeah.
They came up with a few different designs for us, and we were stuck between this kind of old school, cool, clean minimalistic look, and I couldn't decide, and they kind of brought the two together, and I think they did that really nicely. As you said, I really like the kind of 80s theme. If you look at most logos in skydiving, it's got quite an 80s feel to it still.
Sure.
So I kind of wanted to keep the familiarity of that, and also like Dad's whole progression kind of came through the 80s. And they sat us down. They said, like, who was your dad? Oh, okay, this is going to be like a long meeting. We better get a couple of beers.
Right.
And yeah, there was some things that just they really understood.
Well, this is it's got to be a kind of a cool opportunity as well, because you've gone with Jyro, that now moving forward for the generations of skydivers coming up, you get to give them a bit of the history that they would otherwise never know about the sport and about, paying respect to your dad.
Yeah, so I think I realized over the time, because I always thought, oh wow, like all my dad's whole story and our whole company history is like so interesting. And of course, like the people close to me in the sport knows all about our history. But when I started actually talking about it when I was at Jyro Boogie, and to some of our athletes before we released, and some of our dealers, like they had no idea.
Sure.
and I just went assuming like, oh, like the rich history, it's just probably the most special thing we have. And so it was really nice to give that a platform.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because I knew the feel of it, but I didn't know details. I was like a lot of other jumpers. I knew the basis behind it, and I knew the company vibe, but I didn't know any of the real stories. And then you guys sent me over all the proofs for the stuff that you were using, and I read through them, going, "Holy shit, this is gold! This is gold!" Yeah. It really was. So it's got to be really cool to be able to share that moving forward.
Yeah, and I was really happy to realize like the end of Icarus as well, like weaving those two stories in together. It seemed very right.
Yes.
That Icarus is always supposed to die. So I was,
Well, and I mean, it's not like the rebranding. No one is going to stop jumping a Jyro canopy because they don't like the new logo. It's not going to happen. People love the parachutes because above and beyond anything else, they're amazing canopies. But then they get the story behind the rebranding, and that just makes it that much more attractive. And I mean, companies in skydiving have a history of rebranding, a lot. UPT has had how many different names now, and they're still doing fantastic.
I think it's a lot to do with the product. I knew because some people, we've been sent people with tattoos of our Icarus logo that for some people, including myself, like it is a little bit of a hard thing to let go of. But once you kind of get used to the idea, people start realizing how much more epic it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
and the rebrand doesn't erase the history. In fact, completely the opposite. It highlights it, right?
Yeah. It's like an ode to it.
Absolutely. I mean, because it's not like NZ Aerosports and Icarus doesn't exist anymore. It's just a precursor to what it's become now. And it opens the door to tell all these fucking fantastic stories.
Yeah, Brett Newman summed it up perfectly. He said, "Oh, it's Back to the Future."
That's too cool. So now, obviously, the branding has taken a lot to do. It's been quite the process, because I think you guys told me something was coming like close to a year ago. You're like, we can't tell you, but something's coming. It's going to be cool. So is that why you ended up in Bali? You kind of just need a bit of a reset?
Yeah, for sure. Like I need a bit of a reset. It's been raining in Auckland for maybe like 8 months now. I'm happy to I wanted to learn how to surf, And I came here for 6 days after our rebrand with Shannon and Chris as well. We all decided to go to Bali after our rebrand. And as soon as I got here, I was like, I'm coming back. And as
Nice.
soon as I landed back in Auckland, I booked my next flight here. So I think this might be a frequent winter spot for me.
So is it that last trip was your first trip to Bali?
It was my second. I traveled here with some of my girlfriends when I was 20. We
Okay.
did like the whole like we traveled like all through Bali, Vietnam, Cambodia. So yeah, we had a big
Nice.
backpacking trip. Yeah, it was so cool. It's changed so much since here. Like when we were here, Canggu still had lots of rice fields. Now now sometimes you'll get like a little patch of grass
Yep.
every now and then.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I was very surprised to see the development.
We had talked pre-podcast that myself and a couple of skydiver friends had a couple of villas there that we were frequent Bali visitors, and we would spend a lot of our time in Canggu, but we would also go over to Gili T and get in a little trouble on the islands out there and have good fun.
Gili Tea is so beautiful. Yeah, I want to
Isn't
go
it?
to Uluwatu and Lombok. I didn't get to go to those places last time I was here.
Oh, you'll love it. I mean, there's nothing it's Bali, for fuck's sake. It's nothing
Yeah,
sucks in
it's just
Bali.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it really
The
is.
people here are just so kind as well, just so polite. I don't feel like there's any tension here, or I haven't seen any anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah,
nice to be able to go someplace where you can just kind of take a deep breath.
yeah, yeah, it's just so good.
So moving forward, what's coming next with Jyro and what's coming next for Luci?
Oh, we do have a few exciting things coming out.
Uh,
I will talk about one of them. We will have a competition coming out any day now. Um, we'll be able to win a free parachute. So keep
oh,
your eyes out on our socials. It's a video competition.
nice.
So, and then we have a few other special releases coming out, but I will keep those under quiet for
Keep
now,
those in your
under
back
the
pocket for
radar.
now. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Fair
But
enough.
I'll just leave yeah, just keep an eye out on our social media.
All right. All right. I like that teaser. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You guys, I gotta say, you guys are really fucking good at keeping a secret,
Yeah.
which is impressive because skydivers are usually really bad at keeping secrets.
Yeah. I'm do you mean about the rebrand?
Yes.
Yeah.
It-
That was a lot. We did actually tell quite a few people, so I was surprised that people were still surprised. I thought at Jyro Boogie, like, oh, most of the people would like know by now because we had all of our athletes in the new Jyro swoop t-shirts, and then we slowly were having the Jyro stickers come out, and it wasn't until we put the Jyro.com sticker out that some people started coming up to be like, what's Jyro.com? Like, what's happening? And that's when I was like, eh. So people can keep a secret.
Yes, no, very
Yeah.
impressively so. It's funny too because I just talked to Chris Stewart and got the notification that my package arrives in a couple of days. So I get to retire the
Nice.
NZ Aerosports wind blade behind me, and it's going to be a Jyro wind blade and Jyro
Nice. I still
t-shirts.
got an Icarus one behind my desk.
I mean, you still have to pay homage to the roots, right?
Yeah, no, I think it would be a very big job to get rid of every single Icarus sticker in our factory. So
Every
I would just say it's just part of our history now.
Yeah, well, everything I have has a fuck yeah sticker somewhere.
Yeah, me
They're
too.
all over the place. So for anybody that doesn't know, tell them how to follow Jyro on social. How do they order a canopy? Who do they talk to? If they just want more information on the company or they want more information on you, where do they go?
So I'll start with our social media. So our Instagram account is at FlyJyro, which is spelled FLYJYRO. Jyro actually is an acronym for Jump Your Ring Out. um, that was his first business, Jump Your Ring Out. So our website is jyro.com, which is where you can order a parachute. If you just go into our canopies, you can order all on there. If you need any help, just send us an email, which is in the About Us section of our website. And if you want some more things from me, you can follow me on my Instagram, which is Lucid Martini, LucidMartyn. I
I like it. I like it. Where you'll be soaking up rays in Bali and learning to surf for the next, what, month and a half?
Yeah, I have another month and a half here.
So brutal. So brutal.
Oh, yes, so bad.
Well, Luci, I cannot thank you enough for walking away from the beach and the surfboard long enough to sit down and talk to me. We've been trying to
Thank you
arrange
so
this for
much for
quite a
having
while.
me.
I'm glad it
Yeah.
finally happened. This is perfect.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I
Yes.
can't wait to get your new promo packs.
Perfect. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Lunatic Fringe podcast brought to you as always by, well, wait, not as always, actually. Brought to you now by Jyro. Formerly known as Jyro Sports, you'll head to Jyro.com for their next level line of canopies. By Pussfoot, the Extreme Sports Collective. Head over to pussfoot.com to check it out. By Summit Parachute Systems, check out summitparachutesystems.com to talk to Luci Martyn and the gang about kick-ass pilot rigs, rigging courses, and more. By Flyaway Indoor Skydiving, go to flyawaytn.com and check out all the cutting-edge stuff to come. By Pure Spectrum CBD, head to purespectrumcbd.com to check out their wide range of CBD products. And as for us, head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com to listen to any of the hundreds of episodes currently available, hit the link for our YouTube channel, pick up your copy of the Lunatic Fringe book or The Accidental Stripper, and get a sneak peek at upcoming guests. Once again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Get on,